talking about body temperature, and the primary means of controlling body temperature are through clothing and shelter. So I'll focus on shelter because clothing pretty much goes without saying. Here we have a big pile of wood behind me, several cords of wood so that we can raise the temperature in the straw bale house when needed. On this property we go through about a half a cord a year, and that's in 4 stoves. The wood-fired heating stoves in either side of the straw bale house, the wood-fired heating stove in the old mobile home that guests occasionally occupy, and the wood-fired cook stove in the outdoor kitchen. Primary living accommodations on the property are provided by this house, which is a duplex. It's a duplex divided by a breezeway, constructed primarily out of straw bales, which is excellent for insulation. The insulation in the ceiling and on the south wall, which is what we can see here, and thus the big windows for passive solar heat. The insulation on the south wall as well as in the ceilings is provided by recycled denim, which is a little more environmentally friendly and much more friendly for human health than fiberglass, which off-gases formaldehyde. You can see the straw bale house with large windows on the south side. You can see the breezeway, which you're looking at now, which is excellent for cooling during much of the year. It's also a wonderful place to interact with our human community. And another primary component of the human community is the solar panels that you can see on the roof. That large solar array will allow us, after the grid fails for another dozen years or so, to provide a service to our community for grinding grains and mesquite pods and doing small construction projects with electric hand tools, that sort of thing. I'll talk more about that in a future video. Here in the desert southwestern United States, we can use simple technology, including water, to mitigate for the high temperatures. So this is a very simple outdoor shower. It's a big 55-gallon drum, black. That's the lukewarm water. And what you don't see is the container that will hold the hot water. And here's a simple little system that allows us to adjust the two coming out the tap, as it were. And what you see here is an unfinished privacy screen. We'll run reeds through here like we've done in the back to serve as a privacy screen. Several awnings on the property that allow us to reduce body temperature by hanging out in the shade and working in the shade. And they also allow for things like building projects. And so here we have a tool awning, which I built most cleverly after I was essentially all done building things. So finally I knew where all the tools were. And so they're reasonably well organized here. We have all your basic hand tools here and a pretty nice workbench for relatively small projects. We swing over here. You can see a relatively large awning attached to the west end of the mobile home that keeps the summer heat from striking the west end of the mobile home, thereby cooling it quite a bit. It's also really convenient for doing medium-sized construction projects. So we have a vise here, and there's a nice workbench buried under all the tools and stuff over there. Wheelbarrows, miter saw, electrical outlet relatively close, a bunch of ladders and sawhorses hanging from the rafters. So this is a nice place in the shade to do some small and medium-sized construction.